Okay.
Welcome everybody to another episode. It's great to see Michael and Hedda Reubens, old friends of ours from Beth Aaron. And this is the next episode of Where Are They Now? Catching up with our Olim. So let's get started and let's start catching up. So Michael and Hedda, it's great to see you. It's been such a long time. And first set the stage. So how many years were you members of Beth Aaron?
Okay, we moved to Teaneck, to Beth Aaron in November of 1985 when the shul was still in a private house. And we made Aliyah in April of 2008, just before Pesach. So 20 something years, 23.
Okay, and what prompted you to move when you did?
Gravity. Gravity.
What were you thinking about Aliyah for a while before you made the plunge?
Yes, and I think Hashem directed us because people don't make Aliyah for two basic reasons: no family in Israel and no parnasa. We had both, Baruch Hashem. We had children who preceded us in making Aliyah, and Michael's company, where he worked in New Jersey, was bought by an Israeli company, and he'll tell you about that.
I want to hear about that because I know it's an interesting story. So, but before we get there, so your two kids, just catch us up quickly where they are. So Tehila and Yair, and so Tehila is where, and Yair is where?
Okay. Tehila is in Jerusalem, on Rehov King George, really in the heart of the city. And Yair and his wife and 5 children, our 5 grandchildren, live in Otniel, which is a yeshuv in Darom Har Chevron, which happens to be 15 minutes away from us going north.
Wow. Okay. So there's so many questions. So let's start. So when you moved to Israel, you were not retired yet, Michael. And so tell us tell us about your job when you moved there.
Sure. I worked in Orange, New Jersey in a dietary supplement manufacturing facility. We made bulk dietary supplements. And one of our chief suppliers was this company from Beersheba that extracts the red pigment from tomatoes, and that pigment is called lycopene, and it's not a sales pitch, but it's a very powerful antioxidant. And they were looking for representation in the United States, and at one of the shows in Las Vegas, the dietary supplement shows, they met my company, they met me, and I was then the technical director, and one thing led to the other, and they offered us an agency. And not only could we sell their product, we could also convert their product into ingredients and sell those ingredients globally, not just United States. And that relationship continued almost for 8.5, 9 years. And then they had to make a decision whether they build their own facility or they buy our facility. And they offered the owner a deal. And in 2006, they signed an agreement. I, at that point, was the general manager of the facility since 2001. And they said to me, I had a very special relationship with it because they were all Israelis. And I was the only Jew in the company. Well, actually, there was one other Orthodox Jew, but I had a special connection because I'm technical. And they said to me, listen, you can continue running the company, or you can come and live in Israel and make Aliyah, and we will make a job for you.
Wow.
So when I mentioned to you that gravity pulled us to Israel, my son made Aliyah in 2004. My daughter made Aliyah in 2005. And in 2006, we were offered this job.
Wow.
And we just said that, you know, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu plays this little game of chess or big games of chess, he moves us around and we jumped at that opportunity.
Wow.
And
Really,
it
Mina
was-
Shamayim. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I had to tell you, there was just one other consideration that we needed to work out, and
It was where my dad was going to live because he had moved in with us.
Mhm.
Still had his apartment in Queens, but for the most part, he was living with us. Given the choice of staying in America, I had a sister living in Florida. He could have moved to Florida. He could have stayed in Queens, I guess, but the opportunity to come live in Israel was a dream come true for him.
Wow.
You know, a survivor of the Shoah. It was his dream. He got sidetracked to America. He actually wanted to make Aliyah after the war, but he had a couple of cousins in New York who convinced him to come via New York first. And it was Bashert because he met my mother and raised the family. But 60 years later, his dream came true.
Wow.
And at age 85, he joined us. And the house that we chose, really, we chose with him in mind. There was a bedroom on the first floor, no steps, a bathroom with a shower, and the walk to shul was 2 blocks that he could do at the time. So he felt it a zuchut and was so content and happy. And when he became a Saba Rabba,
Yeah.
a great-grandmother, 3 months later, when Yair and Fegi had their first child, he felt he's content in life. And to think he was now 4 generations living in Israel was really a matana, a present for him. And Baruch Hashem, we had 3 wonderful years until he was niftar. And he's buried here in Meitar. We have a beautiful cemetery. We've also made reservations.
Well, wow, that just gave me goosebumps. What a beautiful, beautiful story. So the whole kit and caboodle was there, and that's wonderful. This is why I love doing these interviews, because I didn't even know this, and this is just makes my day. That's wonderful. So tell us why you picked you went to Beersheba, and you picked that because of the company, because of the
I started working in that company in 2008, and actually retired on my 67th birthday in 2018. But they asked me to stay on as a consultant for about another 3 years.
Wow.
And I was just so looking forward to this retirement business. And when I was 70, but another company who is in a similar business, but makes vitamins in gummies, as gummies as a delivery system.
Candy.
Then a candy. They twisted my arm and wouldn't let me say no. So I am now currently working for them 2 days a week. And they are not in Beersheba, they're in Sderot. So Sderot is, a little closer, a little further from us, a little closer to Gaza. But I used to go there at least once a week, and now I work completely from home because of the corona. Mm-hmm. So I'm still working and looking forward to that day of where I can say I've stopped working.
Mm-hmm. And where we live in Meitar, from Beersheba, it was a 15-minute drive. So there was really at the beginning there was no traffic.
It was an easy commute to work.
Mm-hmm.
It has changed since the population has increased, thank God, and a new yishuv has opened in the area. So it took a bit longer, but close enough and far enough.
Okay, so I don't know anybody living in Meitar. So could you tell us about the community, a little bit about the community? You said that it's grown since you've been there, but tell us about.
A community only of houses. It's a yishuv. My dream was to have a house, not an apartment. It's roughly close on 10,000 in number. The demographics is roughly 20% Shomer Shabbat, and that covers the whole scope of Shomer Shabbat. And it's roughly 25% Anglos, and not all of them are Shomer Shabbat. They come from all different backgrounds, and it's a yishuv that is sufficiently close to Beersheba that the younger people are looking to get away from apartments, because, as you probably know, Corona has been a challenge for people living in apartments. So they've been looking for housing, and there are areas in Meitar that have sprung up with new houses. They call it B'nai Beitcha, build your own house. You come with your architectural design, and as long as it meets the municipal requirements, they build houses. So it is growing, which means the value of our house goes up. So all good.
Yeah, thank God.
We were surprised the very first time we came to Meitar, and our connection to Meitar was a former college classmate of mine that I had been in touch with. And once we knew we needed to be in the Beersheba area, we were in touch with her, and she made it her mission to get us here. She found us the house.
Wow.
Every time she saw a house or heard about a house, she contacted us and our children. They came to look, they photographed, and we couldn't believe when we came into Meitar how beautiful it was, and that it was located in the desert. It was so green.
Trees
so
everywhere.
Full of flowers and beauty. We call it Gan Eden here, and we consider ourselves to be very lucky to have a piece of Gan Eden. We have beautiful property, and it's green all year round.
Wow.
So not in the summer because of the heat, but even in the winter, it's green and lush, and we love it.
That's wonderful. If you want, at the end, you could show us a little bit of the outside, if it's still light outside. I don't know if it's still light outside.
Yeah, if we turn the lights on, perhaps.
Maybe, we'll see.
Okay. I wanted to ask, Hedda, I wanted to ask you, I'm sorry, say that again. Sorry, I missed it.
You'll come in person one day and get yourself.
Until then, for sure, I'd love to. Can you tell me, Hedda, when you moved to Israel, so what were you working when you left Teaneck, or?
I officially retired.
Okay.
The kind of work I do, also freelancing, I can pick up at any time and have done so. My main job for the first 3 years was looking after my dad. And
she did a great job.
I hope so. It was a zechut, and he looked after me.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, my parents did what they did as parents, and I had no problem looking after my dad. He was easy to live with. He unfortunately had medical issues, but Baruch Hashem, he lived to almost 88 years old. And we are very grateful for that.
And he was a part of the Beth Aaron community when he lived with us. Everyone called him Zaidi.
That's right.
So, it was very special to have him with us when we made Aliyah. So
nice. A few members actually made Aliyah with the parent, and it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful to hear that. Hedda, while you're in Israel and you're taking care of your dad, in addition to anything, have you been volunteering, or what kind of activities do you do during your day?
It's amazing how I never have enough time for everything that I want to do or that we do. A passion of mine is gardening planting, having flowers, photographing flowers. I do, as of late, photography of flowers, and there is just an unlimited resource here of beautiful flowers. Corona started, all these services became available, home deliveries and community deliveries. So one of the pluses was this guy, a flower vendor. He has, I don't actually know if he owns them, rents them, or works for the flower growers, but he brings an assortment of flowers every Thursday to Meitar. And of course, with our masks on, we would go to the location where he brought them, pick our flowers, pay, and leave. If I tell you, the selection every week was different and more beautiful, it made me really happy. And during Corona, we needed to find ways to be happy.
That's so nice.
So I have plants everywhere, and I have the flowers. I usually send out Shabbat greetings every Friday with a photograph of the flowers. There are the grandchildren that keep me busy. I'm babysitting, doing projects. We had a bar mitzvah of Yair's oldest in June. So I was in making all sorts of things for the bar mitzvah. Shiurim, I'm sure you've heard this from other people, available on Zoom is a treat. We have too many to choose from. It's very often a tough decision, whether they're coming from overseas or from within Israel.
It's true, it's true. Not enough time in the day. And Rabbi Rothwax has all of his shiurim, which are excellent, also online. You can access those. So I know, not enough time in the day.
We have listened to some of his shiurim. So somehow I'm kept busy all the time.
Sure, I'm sure.
I'm not getting paid for any of my work, but I'm getting pleasure.
Yeah, so, you're not getting a monetary, reward, but you're getting a lot of other benefits.
Absolutely,
so
absolutely.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you if you can remember, if you can reminisce with us and share any kind of memories you have of Beth Aaron.
Oh, wow.
I know it's a lot.
Yes, so many wonderful, warm memories, really.
I think that Hedra and I were talking about this earlier. One memory that really is outstanding in my mind was the time that Rabbi Rothwax came for a proba. And, we all looked in just at this young man that is going to attempt to come to be our rabbi in our shul. And when he opened his mouth and started talking, it was like gold came out. There were pearls of wisdom, and it just blew us away. And so you shouldn't really look at a person and judge them by who they are. Wait until that person shows you who they are. So that's a very memorable event in my life in Beth Aaron. I also have a recollection of when the Lustiger family, well, no, not the Lustiger family. Well, but first of all, the Sinensky family did a Hachnasat Sefer Torah. And
I think it coincided almost when the shul had its
when we did a Chanukah Habayit for the shul. And to have the whole community dancing and walking around the roads surrounding the shul made me feel so proud that I was a part of this event and a part of the shul. Those two events really stand out, and I'm sure there are others if I give it some more thought, but two's enough for now.
That's beautiful. Hedda, what do you have? Did you want to share anything from your own?
I remember with Chaviva coming to the neighborhood, the first Purim, that she made, at the time, I don't remember the number of members we had in the shul, let's say 300, 350. She sent every single family a mishloach manot, homemade,
Yep.
beautifully.
Yeah.
And that wowed me. What an Eshet Chayil, what a Rebbitzin, really, what an incredible person.
Well, she comes from good stock, so she has good role models, and thank God we are blessed. We are blessed.
There were so many beautiful memories. You know, it's hard to pick really any one or two. It was just a warm, loving community, and we made amazing friends that to this day we're still in touch with. Sometimes not enough, and I apologize to all those who don't hear from me. But it's a glowing feeling when we think about the community.
I think when it's kind of good news when you don't hear from people, because you know that hopefully they are busy with their own happy lives and productive lives, and everybody's doing what they should be doing. I wanted to ask you, do you keep in touch with former Beth Aaron members that made Aliyah in Israel, and how do you do that?
Yes, we do. Unfortunately, because of Corona, we have not seen many people in the last 2 years because we are very strict and careful.
Mm-hmm.
We're also living in the south,
yeah,
so it's far from most of the other Beth Aaron Olim, but I can tell you that Heda is very active on both those WhatsApps that were brought up, and she's in touch with everyone. I less so because I work and you know.
And at night, people don't sit on the phone like elsewhere. And we try also not to be on the phone at night unless it's international calls, mm-hmm. where people are not home during our daytime. So I do keep in touch with people via the WhatsApps and telephone calls. And occasionally we will go up north to Yerushalayim and
Aliyah L'Regel.
Yeah, people think, we're not so far away. It's a small country. If you think of Israel being the size of New Jersey,
right.
We're a small country, so nothing really is too far.
Right.
But the mentality, the Israeli mentality is, kol kach rachok, too big. It's like an hour plus a little bit to everywhere. And we're not lazy about driving because we come from the States where distances were so great. To visit my family in America, which was a 30-minute drive to Queens, sometimes took an hour and a half. When you're crossing bridges and going through tunnels, traffic. So we try to make it to other parts of the country, and the South really is a beautiful place, and I invite everybody to come see it. Okay. And we're near the Dead Sea. We're near Mitzpeh Ramon, where the Machtesh,
yes.
Ramon crater is.
Right.
We're closer to Eilat. We're not that close, but closer than from the Merkaz. And the desert is beautiful.
Well, this is good that you're saying this, because we're starting a new initiative where we are going to sort of pair up, or at least have a list of people, former Olim, former members who would like to host some gap year students and some some other TNEC or Beth Aaron members. So we're gonna add you to the list, and hopefully you'll get a lot of.
We are about 20 minutes away from Beersheba, So anybody that comes from Yerushalayim or from wherever, they come to the Tachana Merkazit in Beersheba, they give us a call, I'll go pick them up, and we promise them a very unique experience.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Well, I plan on visiting you the next time I'm in Israel. I know that for sure.
Before Corona, once again, we had many a gap year teenager here for Shabbat. We've had groups of them, individuals, and it was always enjoyable.
Well,
And it gave them a feeling of back home.
Yeah. Well, God willing, we will get to that place again where you could host people again. I think that's pretty much all the questions I had. Was there anything else you wanted to add or say?
I wanted to mention something that, because I did see some of the previous recordings, and there were two things that challenged me. One was
we lost your. Okay, there you go.
Okay.
Back.
One was a memorable event.
Yes.
This was unusual in as you'll see. It was my second grandson's bris, and the bris was in the Marata Machpelah in Hebron. No, sorry, it was the third. It wasn't Avinam. It was the third. Moshe. The third grandson was in Marata Machpelah.
Wow.
And my son asked me to be the Sunday. And
wait, you just froze.
Okay, sorry. I'm sorry. I'm on my phone because there was some problem. Okay, you can hear me?
Yes.
So we were in Marata Machpelah, and the minhag here is when you're at a bris, you're not allowed, and you're the Sunday, you're not allowed to leave where everyone goes off to the seudah. You have to sit in your chair, and people come to ask you for a bracha. Chayalim, anyone that's there, and believe me, they inundate you. And there was this one particular person, this man that came up to me, and he said he called me Saba. He said, Saba tevarech oti. So I said, I'm now in the role of giving blessings, because what do I say? Well, you tell me what you want me to bless you for. So he said, I want that my son should be released from jail.
Oh.
So I said to him, where is he? He's in Iran. This man was an Oleh Hadash from Iran, and he left his family there, and his son was in jail.
Oh God.
And I couldn't stop myself. I just broke into tears. He started crying. There was this woman on my right-hand side that she started crying, and I put my head next to him, and I don't even remember what I said, but I do know that my tallis was wet, my shirt was wet. And I thought to myself, this can only happen in Israel. And it was such I still have the chills.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I wanted to mention. And the other thing I wanted to mention is these are perhaps challenges that you have to understand. And I can say it as somebody that came to Israel to work, and I was getting an Israeli salary, and I was getting an Israeli pension. I paid into an Israeli pension plan. And when I decided that it was enough, and I was 70 years old, I wanted to get my Social Security, it turns out that there's some quirk within the Social Security bylaws that if you are an American living in a foreign country, the pension plan, and I'm not talking about Bituach Laomi, which is an equivalent of Israeli Social Security, but your own private pension plan, it turns out that money is deducted from your Social Security. So I urge people to that are planning to come and work in Israel and that have enough time on their working in enough hours in the United States to qualify for Social Security, I urge them to do their homework, and I'll be more than happy to talk to anyone go into more detail on my experiences. But at the end of the day, we got our Social Security, my Social Security, but they did deduct a percentage of my Israeli pension from that Social Security. So
Wow.
it's very important if you're going to make Aliyah and you're going to come and work in Israel and you have been working for a while in the United States, speak to a tax accountant or to a tax advisor. That you shouldn't be blindsided.
That's a very good tip. And thank you for reminding me about asking about the memories. I mean, the experiences. That was great. Yeah. Sure.
Right. It wasn't shocking. You know, you mentioned if there was anything
surprising.
It's surprising. It was surprising. It wasn't shocking. And for the most part, we really have no complaints about the services here. Baruch Hashem, the medical is coverage beyond here is amazing. They called you to remind you to come in for your flu shot or your COVID shot or your blood test. Maybe it's because we're in a small yishuv, and we do have a couple of the Kupot Cholim here, and it's a smaller population. I don't know, but they're on top, on the ball. No complaints, and the only complaint we would have is the driving in the country and the lack of the drivers. The driver. Oh my God! Really, it's very scary.
Yeah.
The lack of, it's not even lack of manners. It's just the Wild West on the roads.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Especially,
especially what, Michael?
Especially coming from suburban New Jersey in Teaneck, where everybody stops, mostly at a stop sign, and wait till somebody else gives someone else. Yeah, it is.
If you stop to let somebody cross, they don't know what to do. They look at you. Why did you stop?
And they say, "Oh, those people are from America, obviously."
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So our kids were very interested in what we were doing today with you, but they couldn't make it. He was in Jerusalem, and so we printed pictures of them.
Oh, so nice. Let's see. Let's have a close-up. Oh my gosh, I didn't even recognize him. Oh, wow.
One will recognize him. That's Yair and his wife, and the 4 boys and the little princess Maya.
Wow.
That's for the older.
Great. That's great. And oh my gosh.
There's Hila. That was taken also in June at her nephew's bar mitzvah.
Wow.
So she doesn't know that I've put her on camera, but thank God we're very blessed. We have the kids nearby, and
we
don't see them enough.
Hedda made a comment over Shabbat that is so true. I don't think there is any country in the world that has this concept of Aliyah. Italians can go to Italy, but Israel has this concept of Aliyah, which is just so incredible that you have, in the early 90s, Israel absorbed over 1 million Russians. And a lot of them are living here in the South, and it's just incredible to see how much they are part of society. So I can only encourage people to seriously consider coming home. This is our home. This is where the Jews belong. And if you just wake up, you see that Hashem is sending us signs all the time. So it is such a gift to be here. And the way it happened for us is, granted, it's unusual. I'm used to moves. I've lived in Africa, I've lived in Australia. Actually, I love making Aliyah so much so this is my second time. We made, my family, my mother and father and two brothers made Aliyah just after the 1967 war, and it was, for many reasons, it was difficult for my father to make Parnassa. We left just before the Yom Kippur War, but moving is a challenge, but it is a necessity of life. We always have to move on. We always have to progress in our lives. And coming to Israel is definitely the right thing. And it's not the easiest thing, but
it's not the easiest thing. It's not perfect, but it's not perfect or easy really anywhere in the world, especially today. Mm-hmm. But here, the feeling of belonging, mm-hmm. You know, we all have differences of opinion here, and the politics tell you exactly that, but it's like one big family, mm-hmm. And people do care about each other, and the Chagim are everybody's Chagim.
Yeah.
They're national holidays and religious holidays, and the feeling is amazing. And Hashem commanded us to live here. And if you don't use it, you lose it.
Oh, hopefully, you know, the videos, besides catching up with our Olim, will also inspire some members too.
Please, we're here to help, advise, give our experiences, Esther, you know, to you and to David. So you know, just please, everyone, use us.
Okay. So I want to thank you again. Don't leave. I'm just going to stop the recording. But I want to thank you again for spending time with us. It was amazing to get a chance to speak with you, and thank you so much. We're listening to everything you're saying, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful time to speak with you.
Love to everyone in the Beth Aaron community, and special love to the Rabbi and Chaviva. Hashem should bless them with koach and gevura and continued chesed that is just amazing.
Amen. Amen.